Jai Hind. Today we are going to discuss more about our irrational numbers. What are irrational numbers and what are rational numbers, that all we have discussed in previous videos. Anyway, now look at this. Real numbers are divided into two: rational numbers and irrational numbers. And in 9th standard you have studied every real number can be represented as a decimal number. So if the real number is a rational number, we can have two types of decimal forms: terminating and another one is non-terminating recurring. Terminating and non-terminating recurring. That all you studied in 9th standard. Terminating, example 0.27, 12.9, 30.725. The decimal digits are ending. When we write the decimal form of these numbers 1 by 2, 5 by 8, 6 by 10, etc., we can have finite number of digits in the decimal part. So when we how we are finding the decimal form of a rational number? By dividing numerator by denominator. So we can complete the division in some steps. So that type of decimal numbers we are calling as terminating decimal form. But when we do the division 1 by 6 or 5 divided by 7 or 2 by 3, decimal form of these numbers, we won't be able to finish the division. It will continue. That type of numbers we are calling as non-terminating recurring decimals. What is the meaning recurring? Recurring means when we continue the division, some digits or one digit or some digits will repeat again and again. So that type of numbers we are calling as non-terminating recurring. So this non-terminating recurring numbers also, there are two types: pure recurring and mixed recurring. Pure recurring means in the decimal part all the digits, what are the digits we have, all will repeat. 0.23 bar means 0.23, 23, 23, etc. 9.074 bar means 9.074. Again we will get 074. It will continue. That is pure recurring. Then mixed recurring means there will be some digits in the decimal part which is not repeating. After that, some digits will repeat. 3.26 bar. Bar is only for 6. It means only 6 will repeat. 2 won't repeat. 0.957 bar means 9 and 5 are not repeating, but 7 will repeat. 15.468 bar. 4 is not repeating. 68, 68, 68, it will come like that. That type of numbers we are calling as mixed recurring numbers, decimals. So all these you have studied, and conversion of recurring decimals into rational form you have done in the 9th standard. So if the decimal form is either terminating or non-terminating recurring like this, surely it will be a rational number. If the decimal form is non-terminating, non-recurring, then it represents an irrational number. And you have studied examples for irrational numbers: root 2, root 3, root 7, root 5, etc. And pi. You have studied pi is also an irrational number. See, root 2 is an irrational number. We can verify that by finding the square root of 2. when we find out the square, this here we are applying long division method. That also you studied in lower classes. And when we continue the long division, you can see 2.4142. It is going like this. Digits are repeating, but we can't predict the next digit early. Okay, so it is going 4142. It is continuing like this. That is not ending. So it is non-terminating, non-recurring. So that's why we are calling root 2 as irrational number. Same way root 3, root 7, etc. And pi also irrational number. So pi, we are writing pi value as 22/7 or 3.14. Pi usually for doing problems we are writing as pi equal to 22/7. We are substituting the value 22/7, or we are putting the value as 3.14. Isn't it, children? 3.14. But when we write pi as 22/7, it is in the rational form, p/q form. Isn't it? But we are taking pi as irrational. Why? So that I am giving as an assignment. You have to find out the answer. This is the assignment for you. What is pi? What is the significance of pi in our mathematics? And why pi is irrational? Pi is called irrational. Find out the answer of these questions and write it as assignment in our school paper itself, and you can send it to teachers. Okay? Why pi is called irrational? Even though we are taking pi value as 22/7 or 3.14, why it is called irrational? And why we are applying, where we are applying pi in mathematics. Okay, children? So, we have discussed about irrational numbers. Root 2, root 3, root 7, etc. are irrational numbers. By finding square root of 2, we have seen it is non-terminating, non-recurring. So, we are calling it as irrational number. Why we are calling, if the decimal form is coming like this, why we are calling it as irrational? So, you have to study the proof, theoretical proof also. So that is our next topic. We have to prove root 2 is irrational. Root 2 is irrational. That is our topic. But before going for the proof of root 2 is that theorem. That is a theorem. Root 2 is an irrational number. That is the theorem. So before starting that, going to that proof of that theorem, you should know about another one, another theorem. We have to apply this theorem in the proof of root 2 is irrational. So you should know what is this theorem. It is theorem 1.3. Let P be a prime number. We have discussed already about prime numbers and composite numbers and all. P is a prime number. If P divides a square means square of a number, a square, then P divides A also. P divides A also, where A is a positive integer. So what did you understand from this statement? P is a prime number. P divides A square. Then P divides A. A is a positive integer. If we are considering a positive integer, when we take its square, that square is a multiple of a prime number. Okay? P divides A square. that you should know the meaning. What is the word meaning divides? See, when we write factors of 6, what are the factors of 6? 1, 2, 3 and 6. Factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3 and 6. Okay children, that means 1, 2, 3 and 6 are factors means 6 is divisible by each of these factors. Isn't it? 6 is divisible by 1, 2, 3 and 6. Okay? Or we can say, in another words, we can say 6 is a multiple of these numbers. 6 is a multiple of these numbers. One, 2, 3 and 6. Or in another words we can say these numbers divides 6. That is 1, 2, 3 and 6 divides 6. If we are writing 6 as 3 into 2, we can say 3 statements. What are they? 3 and 2 are factors of 6. 3 and 2 are factors of 6. Or 3 divides 6 or 2 divides 6 or 6 is a multiple of 3 and 2. 3 and 2 are factors we can say, or 3 divides 6 or 2 divides 6. Divides means divisible. 6 is divisible by 3. 6 is divisible by 2. Or we can say 6 is a multiple of 3 or 6 is a multiple of 2. In different ways we can express this one. Okay. Now come to this theorem. P divides A square means P is a factor of A square. A square means a perfect square. Square of a positive integer. Square of a positive integer. The theorem says if P is a factor of this perfect square, then P is a factor of that number A also. That you can see from one or two examples. See, 3 is a factor of 36. 3 is a factor of 36. Isn't it? 3 plus 6, 9. 9 is divisible by 3. So, 3 is a factor of 36. Now, the theorem says 3 is a factor of 36 is the square of 6. So, 3 is a factor of 6 also. Or another example. Okay. 5 is a factor of 625. 5 is a factor of 625. So, 625 we know it is 25 square. Okay. Now, the theorem says 5 is a factor of 25 also. If 5 is a factor of 25 square, then 5 is a factor of 25 also. The proof is given in proof of this theorem is given in the textbook. But after getting the revised curriculum, if it is written to study that proof, we will discuss in the class. Okay, now we are not going to the theoretical proof of this theorem. You should know the theorem very well. If P is a, that here important thing, the P should be a prime number. P should be a prime number. If P is a prime number, then, and if P divides a perfect square, then P divides that number also. Okay. So this theorem we are going to apply to prove root 2 is irrational. Okay, children. Now come to the theorem. That is also another theorem. Theorem 1.4 in our textbook. Root 2 is irrational. See children, last year you have studied so many proofs of theorems and other questions. So there we have started the proof of that theorems and all from the given data. Can you remember? First we are collecting given data. Then we are writing given, and then we are writing to prove. Then we are starting the proof with the given data. Okay. But here we are proving this in another way. We are proving using method of contradiction. Method of contradiction. So you know the word meaning contradiction. If somebody is saying something and if we are arguing, it is not like that. That is contradiction. That we are arguing there. Then finally we will understand that what we argued is wrong. What we argued is wrong. So if our argument is wrong, that means the given statement is true. Okay children. So that method we are applying here. So here what is to be proved? Root 2 is irrational. So what we can argue? We can argue root 2 is not irrational. Okay. If root 2 is not irrational, what we can say? Root 2 is rational. So we are arguing that root 2 is rational, or we are assuming that root 2 is rational. So by using that concept, we are continuing. Root 2 is rational. That concept we are applying. If a number is a rational number, what you have studied? We can express that number in the form of P by Q, where P and Q are integers. Isn't it? So same we are applying here. So we are assuming, let us assume that root 2 is rational. Root 2 is rational. So if a number is a rational number, we can express that in the form of a P by Q. So here I am taking root 2 as A by B. A by B. And usually we are writing the rational numbers in the simplest form. Isn't it children? So here we are taking root 2 as a rational number in the simplest form. What is the meaning simplest form of a rational number? The numerator and denominator should not have any common factor other than 1. So here A and B don't have any common factor other than 1. So we are using the word, the numbers which have no common factor other than 1 is called co-primes. So here A and B are co-primes. So root 2 can be written in the form A by B, where b not equal to 0. A and b are integers and A and B are coprimes. Coprimes means no common factor other than 1. That is very important in this question. In this proof, coprimes means we have taken A and B such as no common factor for A and B other than 1. Okay children. So root 2 is A by B. Now I am doing some simplification, doing cross multiplication. Root 2b equal to A. Now I am squaring. This simplification you have to study properly. We have to square both sides. Squaring both sides. What we are getting? When we take the square, root 2 square is 2. Square of b is b square. 2b square equal to a square. So here we got 2b square is equal to a square. That is a square is equal to 2 into b square. 2 multiplied by b square. What it means? 2 is a factor of a square, isn't it? If you are writing 6 equal to 2 into 3, what we can say? 2 is a factor of 6. So same way, if a square can be written as 2 multiplied by b square, then we can say 2 is a factor of a square. Or in other words, we can say 2 divides a square. Or a square is divisible by 2. 2 divides a square. And we have discussed the first theorem. If a prime number divides a square of number, that same prime number divides that number also. So if 2 divides a square, by theorem what we can say? 2 divides a also. 2 divides a also. So here we go, 2 is a factor of a. 2 divides a means 2 is a factor of a. If 2 is a factor of a, that a can be written as 2 into some number, isn't it? If 2 is a factor of 6, 6 can be written as 2 into one number 3. Same way, if 2 is a factor of a can be written as 2 multiplied by one integer. That integer I am taking as c, where c is an integer. Okay children. Now a is equal to 2 into c. So what is a square? 2c square, that is 2 square 4. Then c square is 4c square. Okay children. So we got a square is equal to 4c square. So here we have one equation. This one I am naming as equation 1. Here we have a square. Now substitute the value of a square as 4c square in equation 1. Okay children. So substituting in equation 1, we are getting equation 1 is 2b square equal to a square. What is a square? 4c square. So b square equal to 4c square by 2. What is it? We can cancel 2c square. Okay. So what we got? B square is equal to 2 multiplied by c square. What it means? If b square can be written like this, then it means 2 is a factor of b square. Or we can say 2 divides b square. So by theorem what we can say? 2 divides B also. Isn't it? So here again what we got? Here we got 2 divides A and here we are getting 2 divides B. What it means? 2 divides both A and B. Isn't it? It means 2 is a factor of A and B. 2 is a factor of A and B. So here we go, 2 is a factor of A and B. That means 2 is the common factor of A and B. Isn't it? But what we have taken first? Now we got A and B have a common factor 2. But we have taken A and B as the numbers which do not have any common factor. A and B we have taken as coprimes. So what it means? We have started with the coprime numbers by writing a rational form, but finally we got they are not coprimes. This is the contradiction. So this contradiction came. First we have started with the coprime numbers, but finally we got they are not coprimes. 2 is a factor, common factor. So it means this contradiction came because our wrong assumption. We have assumed that root 2 is a rational number. That's why we could write root 2 as A by B, with A and B are coprimes. But finally we got our assumption is wrong. A and B are not coprimes. All these happened because of our wrong assumption that we can write root 2 as rational. Our assumption is wrong means root 2 is not rational. That means root 2 is irrational. Children, you have to watch the video 2 or 3 times. Then only you can understand this one. Okay. Then how to write the... So finally what we concluded? Our contradiction, our assumption was wrong. Why it is wrong? We proved we have taken A and B as coprimes, but finally we got A and B are not coprimes because 2 is a common factor. Okay children, there one contradiction came. This contradiction has come because of our wrong assumption. So our assumption is wrong. So root 2 is irrational. Okay children. So how to write the steps of this proof? See, I considered another question. This is the theorem root 2 is irrational. Then to write the correct step, I have taken another example. Prove that root 3 is irrational. So like this you have to write the steps for that theorem also. Root 2 is irrational. Okay children. So here we have to prove root 3 is irrational. Same way we are arguing that root 3 is rational. So we assumed root 3 is rational. Then since it is rational number, we can write in the form of A by B, where A and B are coprimes. That is very important. Coprimes. Now cross multiplication, root 3b equal to A. On squaring we are getting 3b square equal to A square. That means 3 divides A square. So by theorem 3 divides A also. So we can write, since 3 divides A, 3 is a factor of a. So we can write a is equal to 3 into some integer. So a equal to 3c. On squaring we are getting a square is equal to 9c square. Then we are substituting in equation 1. 3b square is equal to a square is 9c square. So b square we are getting as b square is equal to 3c square. It means 3 is a factor of b square, or b square is divisible by 3. So or 3 divides b square means 3 divides b also by theorem. That is 3 divides both a as well as b. So 3 is a common factor of a and b. First we have started a and b have no common factor. But here we are getting 3 is a common factor of a and b. This is a contradiction. Why this contradiction came? Because we have assumed that root 3 is rational. So our assumption is wrong. This contradiction has arisen because of a wrong assumption that root 3 is rational. So our assumption is wrong. That means root 3 is irrational. So this is the proof for root 3 is irrational. Same way you can write root 2 also. The proof of this theorem also. Already I have written some points, but the correct steps you have to take from this question. And this statement, last statements are very important. If you are not writing these statements properly, you won't get full mark for this theorem. So you have to study this statements like this. Okay. How you are contradicting the assumption, that you have to write properly, explain properly. Okay, this is very important, these statements. Okay, children. So now we have discussed root 2 is irrational, root 3 is irrational. Like that you can take any irrational number and you can prove. Okay. Now come to another type of question. This is just like our exercise question. Prove that 2 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. Okay, children. 2 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. We know root 7 is irrational. We have to prove this much is also irrational. Same way, we are starting with the argument. What we can argue or what we can assume? 2 plus 3 root 7 is rational. We are starting with assumption 2 plus 3 root 7 is rational. So if it is a rational number, what we can write? 2 plus 3 root 7 can be written as a by b, where a and b are co-primes and b not equal to 0, and a and b are integers. Isn't it? So now simplification. Now 3 root 7 can be written as a by b minus 2. This 2 I am taking to this side. So 3 root 7 is equal to b I am taking as common denominator. Here a minus 2b. Okay, children. Now root 7 equal to a minus 2b by this 3 will come as denominator, 3b. Now what we got? Root 7 is equal to a minus 2b by 3b. Here we know a is an integer. We have taken a and b as integers. Okay. A integer, b integer, 2, 3 all are integers. So since all these are integers, surely a minus 2b by 3b will be a rational number. Rational number. So you can take any integer for a and b and just simplify like this. You will get finally a rational number. Okay children? So a minus 2b by 3b is a rational number. So what we got? This right side is a rational number. It means this is also a rational number. Isn't it? Root 7 is a rational. We got root 7 is a rational number. So is it true? Can we say root 7 is a rational number? No, because we know root 7 is an irrational number. So if we are taking this 2 plus 3 root 7 as a rational number, we will get root 7 is also a rational number. But this is a contradiction, isn't it? We know that root 7 is irrational, but here we got root 7 is rational. Why this contradiction came? Because of our wrong assumption. We have started as root 2 plus 3 root 7 is rational. That's why we got root 7 is rational. That means our assumption is wrong. So this contradiction came because of our wrong assumption. What was our assumption? 2 plus 3 root 7 is rational. That means if it is wrong means 2 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. Okay children, same way we have another question like this. Prove that this very important question. In most of the board exam question paper, you can see this type of questions. So you have to practice more. So I have to say one more thing. This answer you have to give according to the mark of the question. If it is only for 2 mark, in most of the question we can see it will be given like that. Given that root 7 is irrational, prove that 2 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. So it will be like that. Given that root 3 is irrational, then prove that 5 minus 7 root 3 is irrational. If it is given like this, no need to think about the proof of root 3 is irrational. If it is not given in the question, first you have to prove this one, root 3 is irrational. What we have discussed, that proof you have to write first. Then you have to start this question. Okay children? But in most of the question papers we can see, given that root 3 is irrational, prove that 5 minus 7 root 3 is irrational. And for this question it will be there, given that root 7 is irrational, prove that 2 plus 3 root 7 is irrational. Okay children? But here root 3 is irrational, so no need to explain the proof of root 3. So how can we start? We are arguing that 5 minus 7 root 3 is not a irrational number. So 5 minus 7 root 3 is rational. So the rational number can be written as a by b. Now simplification. Simplification is very important. So here we have minus 7 root 3 equal to a by b. This 5 will come as minus 5. So minus 7 root 3 equal to b common denominator a minus 5b. So root 3 equal to a minus 5b by this minus 7 will come here minus 7b. Here multiplication, that will come as only division, no change in the sign. So you can stop here by doing simplification. Anyway, after this simplification, you should have our irrational number in the LHS and remaining numbers should be in the RHS. Always you have to stop the simplification like this. LHS should have only that irrational number. Okay, children? Now, if we want, we can take this minus sign also to the numerator. So, it will be minus of a minus 5b by 7b equal to, when we open the bracket, plus 5b minus a by 7b. This is not compulsory to write. Here you can stop. If you can do, you do it. Now, again same. Since a, b, 5, 7 all are integers, a minus 5b by minus 7b is rational. So what we are getting, root 3 is a rational number. We are getting root 3 is a rational number. But can we say root 3 is a rational number? No, we know that root 3 is irrational. So there the contradiction came. Why this contradiction came? Because of a wrong assumption that 5 minus 7 root 3 is rational. Our assumption is wrong means it is irrational. So we can say 5 minus 7 root 3 is irrational. Okay, children? Now I am going to give the answer of these questions, how to write the steps. It is here, and one more question I have written here. You can go through the steps of these questions, how to write the steps. It is very important. The statements are very important. You have to write and study these statements. If the statements are wrong, you won't get full mark. Simplification, there is mark, and for these steps, so statements also there is mark. So study well. Okay, children? So first two discussed questions, I wrote the answer steps here, and one more I wrote here. Study well. Write all these questions and answers in your note. Root 2. First theorem you have to write 1.3. Then 1.4 theorem. Root 2 is irrational, that you have to write. Then root 3 is prove that root 3 is irrational, you have to write. Then these three questions also you have to write. Okay, children? Now one assignment I gave. Let me see how many of you can write that assignment. Then homework from this section. Exercise 1.3, question number 1, question number 2 and question number 3. There are 3 questions. Plus, then prove that the following are irrational. Just like root 2, root 3, you have to write these 2 numbers also. Okay, children? Thank you.